Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today I'm going to do part 2 of the Damascus document for you. I'm thinking that it's going to be a part 3. It's pretty lengthy, and the way it is written, sometimes I kind of stumble through it a little bit. So here we go. This is chapter 7. It's a short chapter, and it's on the sin of fornication and divorce forbidden. The builders of the wall who walk after the law it is which talks of which he said, assuredly they shall talk, are caught by fornication in the taking of 2 wives during their lifetime. But the fundamental principle of the creation, male and female, he created them. And they who went into the ark, 2 by 2 went into the ark. And as to the prince it is written, he shall not multiply wives unto himself. But David read not the book of the law that was sealed, which was in the ark. For it was not opened in Israel from the day of the death of Eleazar and Joshua and the elders who served Ashtaroth. And it was hidden and was not discovered until Zadok arose. Now they glorified the deeds of David, save only the blood of Uriah, and God abandoned them to him. Now this is the sin of polluting the sanctuary. And they also pollute the sanctuary, since they separate not according to the law, and lie with her who sees the blood of her issue, and they take a wife, each other's brother's daughter, or his sister's daughter. But Moses said, Thou shalt not approach thy mother's sister, she is thy mother's near kin. So the law of intercourse for males is written, and the same law holds for females. And let not the daughter of the brother uncover the nakedness of the brother of her father. He is near of kin. They also polluted their Holy Spirit, and a tongue of blasphemy they opened the mouth. With a tongue of blasphemy they opened the mouth against the statutes of the covenant of God, saying, They are not established, but abominations they speak regarding them. They were all kindlers of fire and settlers of flame of firebrands. The webs of spiders and their weavings, and the eggs of cockatrices and their eggs. He who comes near them shall not be innocent. He that chooseth them shall be held guilty, unless he was forced. Aforetime God visited their works, and his wrath was kindled because of their devices. For it is a people of no understanding. They are a nation void of counsel, because there is no understanding in them. For aforetime arose Moses and Aaron through the prince of the lights, but Belial raised Yochanan, and his brother, with his evil device, when the former delivered Israel. Now this section is concerning the land, law and precepts, and also the teacher of righteousness. And during the period of the destruction of the land, there arose those who removed the landmark and led Israel astray, and the land became desolate because they spake rebellion against the commandments of God through Moses, and also through his holy anointed one, And they prophesied a lie to turn away Israel from God. But God remembered the covenant with their forefathers, and he raised up from Aaron men of understanding, and from Israel wise men, and he made them to hearken, and they digged the well. A well the princes digged, the nobles of the people delved it by the order of the lawgiver, and the well is the law. They who digged it are, they who digged it are the penitents of Israel, who went forth out of the land of Judah, and sojourned in the land of Damascus, all of whom God called princes. For they sought him in his glory, and not turned back in the mouth of one of them. And the lawgiver is he who studies the law, in regard to him to whom Isaiah said, he bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And the nobles of the people are those who came to dig the well, and by the precepts in which the lawgiver ordained, that they should walk throughout the full period of the wickedness, and save them. They shall get nothing until there arises the teacher of righteousness in the end of days. And now who have entered into the covenant shall enter into the sanctuary to kindle his altar, but they shall shut the doors, concerning whom God said, O that there was among you to shut the doors, so that ye might not vainly kindle the fire upon my altar, unless they observe to do according to the true meaning of the law, until the period of the wickedness, and to serve themselves from the children from the children of the pit, and to hold aloof from the polluted wealth of wickedness under a vow and a curse, and from the wealth of the sanctuary. And in respect to robbing the pool of his people, so that windows may be their spoil, and they may murder the fatherless, and to make a difference between the clean and the unclean, and to make men discern between the holy and the profane, and to observe Sabbath according to its true meaning, and the feasts and the day of the feast according to the utterances of them who entered into the new covenant in the land of Damascus, to contribute their holy things according to the true interpretation, to love every one his brother as himself, to strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy and the stranger, and to seek every one the peace of his brother, to hold aloof from harlots according to the law, and that no man should commit a trespass against his next of kin, to rebuke every one his brother according to the commandment, and not bear a grudge from day to day, and to separate from all the pollutions according to their judgments. And no man shall make abominable with these his Holy Spirit, according to God separated these from them. As for all those who walk in these things, in the perfection of holiness, according to the ordinances of the covenant of Yah, of God. Now, the next part is sectioned off A and B, and I'm not quite sure. I guess he has translated some of these, which the second part has a slight bit different wording. So Here we go. Section A. Standeth fast unto them to preserve them to 1,000 generations. Section B. Standeth fast unto them to preserve them for 1,000 generations, as it is written, Who keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keepeth his commandments to 1,000 generations. I think what he's doing here is he's writing the Damascus Documents, what is in that, and then he is reiterating these passages with verses that are biblical out of Old Testament and New Testament. And if they settle, that's number 1, not I. And if they settle in camps according to the order of the land, and take wives and beget children, they shall walk according to the law, and according to the judgments of the ordinances, according to the order of the law, as he spake, between a man and his wife, and between a father and his son. And here is the second part of that, which is from the Bible. And if they settle in camps according to the statutes of the land, which were from of old, and take wives according to the custom of the law, and beget children, they shall walk according to the judgments of the ordinances, according to the order of the law, as he spake, between a man and his wife, and between father and his son. Now, this is section A for the next part. Judgment for those who rejected the statutes. But as for all of them that reject, when God will bring a visitation upon the land, they shall be requited with the recompense of the wicked, when there shall come to pass the word which is written in the words of Isaiah the son of Amos, the prophet, who said, He will bring upon thee, and upon thy people, and upon thy father's house, that have not come from the day of Ephraim, that departed from Judah. Now, section B. But as for all of them that rejected the commandments and the statutes, they shall be requited with the recompense of the wicked, when God will bring visitation upon the land, when there shall come to pass the word which is written by the hand of Zechariah the prophet, O sword, awake against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith God. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand against the little ones. Now, this section is the foundation of the Zokite party and its expectations, the law, the prophets, and the Messiah. When the two houses of Israel separated, Ephraim departed from Judah, and all who proved faithless were delivered to the sword. And those who held fast escaped into the land of the north, as he said, And I will cause to go into captivity Succoth, your king, and Chion, your images, the star of your God, which ye made for yourselves beyond Damascus. The books of the law are the tabernacle of the king, as he said, And I will raise up the tabernacle of David, that is fallen. The king is the congregation, and Chion, the images, are the books of the prophets, whose words Israel has despised, and the star is he who studied the law, who came to Damascus, as it is written, There shall come forth a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. The scepter is the prince of all the congregation. This word Chiun, Chiun, I looked that up yesterday, and that word means idols. So they're talking about the idols and the images, the books and the star, and those things. This next section is the Messiah will destroy those who were faithless to the covenant. Their moral declarations are derelitions through Hellenizing influences. And when he shall destroy all the sons of the battle din, these shall escape during the period of the first visitation, but those who proved faithless shall be delivered to the sword. And this also shall be the judgment of all them who have entered into his covenant, who will not hold fast to these statutes. They shall be visited for destruction through the land of Belial. This is the day on which God shall visit, and he hath spoken. The princes of Judah were like them that removed the landmark. Upon them I will pour out my wrath like water, where they are too sick to be healed, and they have been at the head of all the rebels, because they have not turned from the way of their traitors, but have wallowed in the ways of harlots, and in the wealth of the wickedness and revenge. And every man beareth a grudge against his brother, and every man hateth his neighbor, and the committed trespass every man against his next of kin, and drew near to unchastity, and exalted themselves with a few to wealth and unjust gain. And every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And they chose every man the stubbornness of his heart. And they separated not from the people, and they cast off restraint with a high hand to walk in the way of the wicked, concerning Yah, said, their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of asps. The dragons are the kings of the Gentiles, and their wine is their ways, and the venom of, and they that giveth heed to him are the poor of the flock. These shall escape during the period of the visitation, but the rest shall be handed over to the sword when the Messiah comes from Aaron and Israel. Just as it was during the period of the first visitation, concerning which he spoke through Ezekiel, to set a mark upon their foreheads of them that sigh and cry, but the rest were delivered to the sword, that avengeth with the vengeance of the covenant. And this also shall be the judgment of all of them that have entered into his covenant, who will not hold fast to these statutes. They shall be vanished for destruction through the hand of Belial. This is the day on which God shall visit, and he hath spoken. Now, all through this Damascus document, it is written the word God. I don't usually use the word God. I prefer the word Yahweh. However, I'm reading it as it's written, and sometimes I just kind of, read it the way it's written. So pardon me, I don't mean to keep using the word God, as I know that it is Yahweh. The prince of Judah, were like them that remove the landmark. Upon them I will pour out my wrath like water, because they entered into the covenant repentance, and yet have not turned away of traitors, but have dealt unwantonly in the ways of fornication, in the wealth of wickedness, and in revenge. And every man beareth a grudge against his brother, and every man hateth his neighbor, and they committeth trespass every man against the next of kin, and drew near to unchastity, and they themselves strong with a view to wealth and unjust gain. And every man did that which is right in his own eyes. And they chose every man the stubbornness of his heart. And they separated not from the people and their sins, and they cast off restraint with a high hand. Now that was section B. I read to you section A just before. You might have noticed there were several words that were kind of reversed. So Dr. Charles, he wrote them more clearly in the second passage, section B. This time I'm just going to read the section B because I can see that it's actually pretty much word for word what the other section A says. So let's see. They cast off restraint with a high hand to walk in the ways of the wicked, concerning whom Yah said, their wine is the poison of their dragons and the cruel venom of asps. The dragons are the kings of the Gentiles, and their wine is their ways, and the venom of asps is the head of the kings of Javan, who came to execute vengeance upon them. Okay, the next section, chapter 9, is neither to these things nor to Moses did the builders of the wall give heed. But despite all these things, they who builded the wall and daubed it with untempered mortar perceived not, for one who walked in wind and weighed storms and talked lies to man, that the wrath of God was kindled against all his congregation. Nor Moses said to Israel, not for thy righteousness, nor for the uprightness of thine heart, dost thou go into inherit these nations, but because he loved thy fathers, and because he would keep the oath. This next section is the penitence, like the forefathers, faithfulness to the covenant, about the wall, and the faithless to the new covenant will be judged. Such is the case of the penitents of Israel, who turned aside from the way of the people, owing to the love of Yah for the forefathers who admonished the people to follow after God, Yah. He loved them that came after them, for theirs is the covenant of the fathers. But Yah hates and abhors the builders of the wall, and his wrath was kindled against them and against all who follow after them. And such will be the case of all who reject the commandments of Yah and forsake them and turn away in the stubbornness of their own heart. The next section is excommunication of those who fall away from the new covenant. Okay, this is the word which Jeremiah spake to Baruch, the son of Neriah, and Elisha to his servant Gehazi, all the men who entered into the new covenant in the land of Damascus. They shall not be reckoned in the assembly of the people, and in its register they shall not be written. For the day when there was gathered in the unique teacher until there shall arise the Messiah from Aaron, from Israel. And such is the case for all that enter into the congregation of the men of perfection of holiness. And as for them who abhors doing precepts of upright men, he is the man who is melted in the furnace. When his deeds become known, he shall be expelled from the congregation, as though his lot had not fallen among them that are taught of Yah. According to the trespass, they shall record him as a perverted man until he come back to stand in the office of the men of the perfection of holiness. And when his deeds become known in accordance to the midrash of the law, in which walk the men of the perfection of holiness, no man shall consent to be with him in wealth and labor. For all the saints of the Most High have cursed him. And such shall be the case of everyone who rejects the first and the last, who have placed idols upon their hearts and walked in the stubbornness of their hearts. They have no share in the house of the law, with a judgment like unto that of their neighbors, who turned away with the scornful men. They shall be judged. For they spake error against the statutes of righteousness, and rejected the covenant of the pledge of faith, which they had affirmed in the land of Damascus, and is the new covenant. And there shall not be unto them, nor unto their families, a share in the house of the law. And from the day when there was gathered in the unique teacher until all the men of war were consumed, who walked with the men of lies about 40 years. And during this period there shall be kindled the wrath of Yah against Israel, as he said, there is no king, and no prince, and no judge, and none that rebuketh in righteousness. Those who repented of transgression in Jacob observed the covenant of God, Yah. And they spake each man with his neighbor to strengthen one another. Let our steps hold fast to the way of Yah. And Yah hearkened to their words and heard. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yah, and thought upon his name, until salvation and righteousness be revealed for them that fear Yah. They shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Yah and him that serveth not. And he showeth mercy to thousands of them that love him and keep his commandments, and for 1,000 generations from the house of Peleg that have gone out from the holy city. They trusted in Yah throughout the period that Israel trespassed and polluted the sanctuary and returned again to molten images. The people with few words shall all be judged, with each according to his spirit in the council of holiness. And as for all those who have broken down the landmark of the law, amongst those who entered into the covenant, when there shall shine forth the glory of Yah to Israel, they shall be cut off from the midst of the camp, and with all those who do wickedly of Judah in the days of his testing. Thank you, brothers and sisters, this morning for being with me on this reading. I'm going to take up Damascus Document in the next section. I'm going to take a break here, and I will start up part 3, and that will be chapter 9. I apologize. I'm suffering from a bit of a sore throat here. So I'm going to take a break and get a drink of water. And please check out section 3, video number 3 on the Damascus Document. Don't forget to like and share this station, and subscribe if you would like to hear more on the books of Enoch and Jubilees, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the Damascus Document. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.